Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhar Vikagiri Dhari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupara Shutara Shuta Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupara Shutara Shuta Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupara Shutara Shuta Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupara Shutara Shuta Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupara Shutara Shuta Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Mahabhagavat Srila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupānuga Guru Varga Ki Jai Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigana Ki Jai Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Śrīla Narottam Das Ṭhākura Ki Jai Todiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi Ki Jai Jai Śrīla Narottam Das Ṭhākura Ki Jai Shri Krishna Madhurotsav Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sannyāsa Grahan Divas Ki Jai Jai Shri, what is it else today? Oh, today is the mother of Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, who we read about so much in that book, A Life of Devotion, Ram Rangini Devi. So Shri Ram Rangini Devi, it's her disappearance day today. So Ram Rangini Devi Tiruvav Titi Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna, everybody. I actually didn't even know about that it was Srila Bhaktivinoda Puri Goswami Maharaj's mother's disappearance day today. But last night in our Nurturing the Seed session, Rukmini Didi, before she left a note there. So that was cool. Oh, and Rukmini Didi's there. Haribo, Rukmini Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, and Krishnamai Didi. Haribo. Rukmini Didi, could you I actually don't know anything about what Krishna Madhurotsav is about. Is there anything, any kind of, yeah, because I've always seen it in the calendar, but I just don't know anything about it. So if you have anything to share about that, or if you have a link or something like that, maybe you could send to me on WhatsApp. If you have a link or something. All right, so I wish we could just read about Narottam Das Thakur today, because there's a whole thick book written by, what's her name, Shitala Devi, I think, just about Narottam Das Thakur. There's so much about to say about Narottam Das Thakur, but because we're trying to complete our Madhya-khaṇḍa reading within the next few days, next 3 days, I think, I'm going to read Caitanya-bhāgavata. And also today's the day that Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas, and so we actually came to that lila in our Caitanya-bhāgavata reading, which is pretty astonishing, I think. Like without any planning or anything, we just naturally came to this section at the most appropriate time. And Rukmini Didi says, Krishna Madhurotsav, she doesn't know anything either except that it is a sweet Ras Lila. Okay, so Krishna Madhurotsav, Krishna sweet Ras Lila, pastime ki jai. All right, so I'm gonna just jump right into it, and hopefully we'll be able to. At the end, once we finish this chapter, we will read from Śrī Caitanya and his associates. This book by Srila Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Mahārāja. All right. All right, let me share my screen. And Haribo Champak Mataji. Narisa Krishna Maididi. Yeah, okay. Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Also, this should be a short, this should not be a long A. I just never got around to fixing that. Yeah. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ajanulambita bhujau kanakavadato sankirtanaika pitaro kamalaya Vishwambaro dvijavaro yugadharma palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha Jai 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 Vishwambhara Dvijaraj Jai Vishwambhara Priya Vaishnava Samaj Gaura Chandra Jai Dharma Setu Mahadhir Jai Sankirtana Moy Sundar Sharir Jai Nityanandir Bandhava Dhana Pran Jai Gadādhara Advaiter Prema Dham Jai Shri Jagarananda Priya Atishay Jai Vakreshwar Kashishwarer Hriday Jai Jai Shivasari Priya Varganath Jiva Pratikoro Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat Madhya-khaṇḍa khatha jeno amriter khanda je khatha shunile ghuche antar pashanda Madhya-khaṇḍa khatha bhai shuno ekachitte sankirtana aramba hoilo jeno mate tavai vasmi na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya devi tvang nayamang charanantikam Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai kshiptascha kamadhitaranga madhe kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charana ravindam bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, because it's late, and we have a lot to get through today, I'm going to skip this. I'll just read the last verse, though. The glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita. The Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Sahaje Vichitra Madhur Chaitanya Vihar Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amritera Dhar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they're described by Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur Jai Chaitanya Bhagavat Ki Jai. I think today we're going to have lots of very long Gaudiya Bhashyas because we're only reading verses 126 to 181. I didn't get to look at through the chapter beforehand, but yeah. All right, I'm going to let's just, tomorrow we will read the summary. But now I'm just going to read from the verses here. Okay, so one day, all glories to Gaurachandra, the benefactor of the world. Please place your lotus feet within my heart. Oh, and Hare Krishna, Indira Mataji, great to see you here again. Haribol. And Amita Dandekar and Philip. Hare Krishna. Haribol, everybody. Okay, so all glories to Gaurachandra, the benefactor of the world. Please place your lotus feet within my heart. One day, the Lord mercifully asked Śuklāmbara Brahmachari for some rice. I have a strong desire to eat your rice. Do not fear. This is a sincere request. When Mahaprabhu made repeated requests in this way, Śuklāmbara emotionally pleaded with the Lord. I am most sinful, a wretched beggar, and you are the personification of eternal religious principles, which I have fallen from. O Lord, you should give me the shelter of your lotus feet. Although I'm not even equal to an insect, you are trying to deceive me. The Lord said, do not consider this a deception, for I have a strong desire to taste your cooking. And we read before how Mahaprabhu snatched the broken rice that he had begged from door to door and ate that. Yeah. Shukla. And it said that in Krishna Lila, he is one of the wives of the Mathura Brahmins. And that Lila, with Krishna. Haribol, Nari Hari Prabhu, and Pavatarani Mataji. Hare Krishna. So do not consider this a deception, for I have a strong desire to taste your cooking. Go home and quickly prepare an offering for the Lord. I will surely come at midday. Still, Śuklāmbara was in anxiety, so he asked all the devotees what he should do. They all said, why are you afraid? From the spiritual point of view, no one is separate from the Supreme Lord. He always begs food, especially from those who worship him with unflinching devotion. One second, just making sure that my mic is plugged in. Yeah. Although Vidura was the son of a Shudra, because of his devotional service, the Lord personally begged food from him and ate. It is the nature of the Lord to beg food from his devotees and eat. Just go and offer him lunch with great devotion. If you still feel fearful, then don't touch the food while you cook. You are most fortunate to receive such mercy. On hearing this, the Brahman returned to his house. After taking bath, Śuklāmbara carefully boiled some scented water. The Brahman then put some rice and the choice core of a banana stem in the water without touching them and folded his hands. Śuklāmbara then began to joyfully sing, Jai Krishna, Govinda, Gopala Vanamali. At that moment, the greatly chaste Lakshmi, the mother of the universe, glanced at the devotee's rice. That rice then immediately became exactly like nectar. Meanwhile, the Lord arrived there after finishing his bath. He was accompanied by some of his intimate associates like Nityananda. Sri Sachinandan then changed out of his wet clothes. As the Lord took that rice he had desired, he looked at Śuklāmbara and smiled happily. The house was situated right next to the Ganga. The Lord then happily offered the rice to Vishnu. Thereafter, the Lord smiled as he joyfully sat down to eat. All his servants watched to the full satisfaction of their eyes. It was most extraordinary that Sri Gaurasundar, the enjoyer of sacrifices offered by personalities such as Brahma, was now eating the rice of Śuklāmbara. That Lord said, since birth, I have never tasted such palatable rice as this. I cannot describe the fine taste of this banana stem. How did he cook it without touching it? You are certainly one of my friends for whom I incarnate. On seeing the extraordinary mercy bestowed on Śuklāmbara, the devotees began to cry among themselves. In this way, the Lord repeatedly relished the meal to his full satisfaction. Let the sinful non-devotee millionaires see the mercy that the beggar Śuklāmbara received. One cannot attain Lord Chaitanya by wealth, followers, or learning. All the scriptures declare, the Lord is controlled by devotional service. After finishing his meal, the Lord, in great satisfaction, sat down and smiled as he chewed betel nuts. The devotees forgot themselves in ecstasy as they honored the remnants that Brahma, Shiva, and Ananta worship. Who can describe the ecstasy that filled that beggar's house? Such are the pastimes of Lord Vishwambara. After discussing the pastimes of Krishna for some time, Mahaprabhu lied down there. The devotees also lied down there. One of them, however, saw something wonderful. There was a student of the Lord named Sri Vijay Das. That great soul had a divine vision. There was no writer in Navadvip as expert as him. He copied many books for the Lord. People called him Akariya Vijay, but because they were devoid of devotion, they did not know his glories. While lying down, the Lord placed his hands on the body of Vijay, who then saw something most wonderful. He saw that the Lord's hands was long and mighty like a golden pillar and decorated with jeweled ornaments. All of his fingers were decorated with engraved jeweled rings. It appeared as if millions of suns and moons were brightly shining. That effulgence spread up to the planet of Lord Brahma. On seeing the Lord's hands, Vijay became filled with transcendental ecstasy. When Vijay was about to shout, the Lord immediately placed his lotus hand over his mouth. The Lord said, "As long as I remain in this world, do not tell anyone about this incident." After saying this, the Lord looked at Vijay and smiled. And then Vijay jumped up and roared loudly. The loud roaring of Vijay woke all the devotees. They tried to restrain Vijay, but they were unable. After jumping about like a madman for a while, Vijay became absorbed in ecstasy and fell unconscious. As all the devotees realized that he had seen the Lord's opulences, they began to cry. The Lord asked everyone, "What happened to Vijay? Why is he suddenly roaring loudly?" The Lord further said, "I think it is the influence of the Ganga, for Vijay is particularly devoted to the Ganga. Otherwise, the Supreme Lord must be present in Śuklāmbara's house. Only Krishna knows what he has seen." After speaking like this, the Lord touched Vijay's body and brought him back to consciousness. Then all the devotees smiled. Although Vijay got up, he remained practically inert. For 7 days, he wandered about Nadia in that state. Vijay did not eat, sleep, or perform any bodily activities as he wandered about. No one could understand the mystery behind this. After some days, Vijay regained external consciousness. Such pastimes took place at the house of Śuklāmbara. Hare Krishna, Shubhananda Prabhu. Oh, great. You're going to be making it for Navadvip Parikrama. That's great. Actually, I'm going to be staying in Mayapur. Are you staying in Mayapur as well? I think you are, right? So, yeah, that's great. We'll be close to each other. Okay. Who has the power to describe the good fortune of Śuklāmbara, whose rice was eaten by Gaurasundar? In this way, Gaurasundar enjoyed pastimes with his associates in the house of the fortunate Śuklāmbara. By hearing about the mercy bestowed on Vijay and the acceptance of Śuklāmbara's rice, one attains the wealth of devotional service. In this way, Sri Gaurasundar constantly performed pastimes in Navadvip that are glorified by all the Vedas. Accompanied by Nityananda, the Lord daily enjoyed pastimes like this in the houses of all the Vaishnavas. The body of the Lord was always agitated in the mellows of ecstatic love as he manifested the sentiments of Matsya, Kurma, Narasingha, Varaha, Vaman, Ramachandra, Buddha, Kalki, and Krishna, the son of Nanda Mahārāja. In this way, the Lord assumed the forms and manifested the sentiments of his various incarnations on some pretext or other. The Lord manifested these sentiments and then withdrew them, but his sentiment as Balaram remained for many days. The Lord would become intoxicated in the mood of Haladar and loudly call out, "Bring wine, bring wine." Knowing the Lord's intention, Nityananda would reverentially give him a pot filled with Ganga water. The Lord would roar and shout in such a way that the three worlds, beginning from Navadvip, shook. He would dance so wildly that if he fell to the ground, the earth would crack. The earth would sway along with the entire universe, and the devotees would become frightened on seeing the dancing of the Lord. When the devotees would sing the glories of Balaram, the Lord would lose consciousness in ecstasy. As the Lord staggered around the courtyard like a greatly intoxicated person, he composed and recited particular varieties of poems and songs. I should share this in the Daoji club, Daoji fan club. What splendor he manifested in the mood of Balaram. The devotees were unsatiated, even though they constantly gazed at him. The Lord's moon-like face was completely beyond description. He would repeatedly call out, Nityananda, Nityananda. The Lord would seldom regain external consciousness, and when he did so, he would exclaim, my life is departing. The Lord would then say, when my uncle Balaram beat me, my father Krishna saved me. So it's saying that sometimes Mahaprabhu would become absorbed in the mood of Pradyumna, and he would then accept Balaram as his guardian and address him as uncle. And he would accept Krishna as his protector and consider him his father. After speaking like this, the Lord would lose consciousness in such a way that the devotees would become frightened and cry loudly. As the son of Jagannath Mishra danced in various moods, all of the pastimes he exhibited were most wonderful. Sometimes he would manifest feelings of separation in such a way that it appeared as if an undescribable, wonderful ocean of ecstatic love was flowing from him. The Lord's crying would pierce the hearts of people throughout innumerable worlds. As the Lord became overwhelmed in love for himself, he spoke as though he forgot who he was. The gopis previously feared that when the moon rose, they would die out of separation from Krishna. The Lord became absorbed in those same sentiments and cried bitterly as he held everyone's neck. On seeing the Lord's agitation out of absorption and ecstasy, Shachi, the mother of the universe, cried inside the house. Where was that in Caitanya-bhāgavata though? We read that Mother Shachi received the boon that she would be unaware of all these separation feelings that Mahaprabhu felt because it was too painful for her. What chapter? I remember reading that in one of the chapters, but I guess it wasn't all the time. Sometimes she would see that. Such was the Lord's extraordinary display of loving devotional service. Can a human being have the ability to describe it? Every day, according to the mood manifested by the Lord, he would perform pastimes of the various incarnations. One day, the Lord of the universe became absorbed in the mood of the gopis and chanted, Vrindavan, Gopi, Gopi. At that time, a student came there for some purpose. Not understanding the internal mood of the Lord, he spoke. O Nimai Pandit, why are you chanting Gopi, Gopi? Stop chanting Gopi, Gopi and chant the name of Krishna. What piety will you achieve by chanting Gopi, Gopi? The Vedas say that one achieves piety by chanting the name of Krishna. The Lord was absorbed in a different mood, which the ignorant student could not understand. The Lord said, Krishna is a rogue. Who will worship him? He mercilessly killed Bali for no fault of his. Being controlled by his wife, he cut off the nose and ears of another woman. He took everything away from Bali Mahārāja and sent him to Patal. What will I gain by chanting his name? After speaking in this way, Mahaprabhu, who was absorbed in ecstasy, took up a stick and rushed to beat the student. The student quickly got up and ran away, with Mahaprabhu chasing after him, exclaiming, catch him, dharo, dharo. Seeing the angry Lord with a stick in his hands, the student panicked and ran away. The student did not understand the different mood by which the Lord was chasing him. He became greatly frightened and ran for his life. The devotees quickly ran after the Lord and soon caught him and brought him back. As they all pacified the Lord, the student fearfully ran far away. Breathing heavily and covered with perspiration, the student quickly joined his fellow students. They all anxiously asked him why he was frightened, and he replied, don't ask. Today, I'm lucky to still be alive. Everyone says that Nimai Pandit is a great saint, so I went to his house to see him. I saw he was sitting and chanting Gopi Gopi. Day and night, he is chanting only these names. So I asked him, Oh Pandit, what are you doing? Chant the name of Krishna as the scriptures have prescribed. On hearing my words, he burned with anger, and then he picked up a stick and began to chase me. He also criticized Krishna with such filthy words that I am unable to repeat them. I was saved only by the will of destiny. This is what happened to me today. On hearing that student's words, his foolish friends laughed and began to discuss their thoughts on the matter. One of them said, people call him a Vaishnav, but then why does he try to angrily beat a Brahmin? Another said, how can he be called a Vaishnav if he does not chant the name of Krishna? Someone else said, this is a strange story I'm hearing. A Vaishnava is chanting the name Gopi? Yet another said, why should we be frightened? Don't we possess the prowess of Brahmins? He is a Brahmin, but aren't we also? If he attacks us, why should we tolerate it? He is not a king that he can attack everyone. We should all stick together, and if he attacks us again, we will not tolerate it. He may be the son of Jagannath Mishra of Navadip, but we are not the sons of less important persons. Remember, just recently we studied with him. Now see how he has become a Gosvāmī. In this way, the sinful students made a plan, which was understood by Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, the super soul. One day, Mahaprabhu was sitting in the midst of his associates. Suddenly, he spoke something strange, which no one could understand. They were all struck with wonder. Mahaprabhu said, I made the medicine Pipali-khaṇḍa to clear excess mucus. But instead of clearing the mucus in the body, it created more. After saying this, the Lord of all laughed loudly. The devotees could not understand why he was laughing and became anxious. Nityananda understood the Lord's plan. He understood, the Lord will soon leave home. Lord Nityananda became absorbed in lamentation as he realized that the Lord would certainly take sannyas. Thinking that the Lord would shave off his beautiful hair, Nityananda became agitated with distress. After a while, Lord Gauranga took Nityananda by the hand and sat down in a solitary place. That's where we left off yesterday, and now we will continue on. Hare Krishna Vidyalala Sadidi. Prabhu bole shuno Nityananda Mahārāja, tomare kohiye nija hriday nishchay. The Lord said, listen, Nityananda Prabhu, let me confidentially reveal my heart to you. Bhalo she ailaya ami jagata tarite, taran nahilo ami ailun sangharite. I came to deliver the living entities of this world. I could not deliver them, and it appears that I came to destroy them. Amadeki kotapai beka bandhanash, eka guna baddha chilo, hoilo koti pash. They were supposed to be freed from material bondage by seeing me. But whereas they were previously bound by one rope, they are now bound by millions. Gaudiya Bhashya by Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswāmī Prabhupada. Śrī Gaurasundar said to Śrī Nityananda, I began to glorify Lord Hari and his devotees to benefit the residents of Navadvip. But the result was the opposite. They became more and more entangled in offense. They could not understand the practice of pure devotional service, and they ruined themselves by totally misunderstanding devotional service to Hari. In this way, they tightened the knots of their bondage to material existence. Their such degradation resulted from envy of the Supreme Lord and the absence of a service attitude for the devotees of the Supreme Lord. When, according to the desire of Śrī Gaurasundar, the expert devotees of the Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha engaged in preaching pure devotional service, a group of Prakrit Sahajias, under the guidance of an arrogant karmi resident of Kalna, created various disturbances. Those Prakrit Sahajya, so-called preachers of devotional service to Vishnu, tried their best to oppose the preaching of pure devotional service by resorting to the use of harsh language in various medias, like one fortnightly newspaper. They plunged into the well of material existence to destroy themselves by accepting sinful activities, deviations from religious principles, non-devotional activities in the form of envying Krishna and his devotees, and association with women as the standards of pure devotional service preached by Śrī Gaurasundar. Some of them tried to oppose the system of Daiva Varnashram on the pretext of following Varnashram Dharma, and some, without understanding the process of devotional service, tried to preserve their beards and mustaches to keep their enjoying propensity intact. Śrīla Saraswati Ṭhākura really didn't like long hair and or beards and mustaches. It's very interesting, like long beards. We read about this a couple of times. The foolish Prakrita, neither did Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada either. The foolish Prakrit Sahajias cannot understand the intentions of the Lord's devotees. Therefore, how will they understand the transcendental behavior and endeavors of Gaurasundar? They did not hesitate to create the new doctrine that even the distribution of Krishna Prem, the ultimate aim of Gaura's supremely pure pastimes, is the perverted mentality of immoral people. In every yuga, one finds the purport of the statement, Kalina Nashtapralaye Vaniyam Veda Samgita. By the influence of time, the transcendental sound of Vedic knowledge is lost at the time of annihilation. Yet the Supreme Lord, yet the Supreme Lord and his devotees always endeavor to check the decline in religious principles. Sinful-minded people, however, are not able to understand undisclosed mysteries. Hare Krishna, Rasapriya Didi. So Mahaprabhu said that they were supposed to be freed from material bondage, the living entities, by seeing me. Whereas, however, they were bound by, but the opposite of that happened. They, instead of just being bound by one rope like they were previously, they've now become bound by millions. Amare marite jabe korile kamane tokone pori gelo ashesha bandhane. As soon as they decided to beat me, they were immediately entangled in unlimited bondage. Bhalo loka tarite korilo avatar, apane korilo sab jiver sanghar. I incarnated to deliver the people of the world, but it appears that I am destroying them. Deko kali shikha sutra sab mudaiya. Sorry. Bhiksha kori bedaimo sannyasa koriya. Soon you will see me shave my head and give up my Brahman thread. I will wander about begging as a sannyasi. Jai jai jane chahiyache more mari bare bhikshuk hoimo kali tahar duare. I will soon become a beggar at the door of those who have decided to beat me. I'll become a beggar at the door of those who decided to beat me. Tabe mor dekishe dhoribe charan e mate udharibo shakala bhuvan. Then they will fall at my feet when they see me, and in this way I will deliver the entire world. Sannyasire sarvalok kore namaskar, sannyasire keho ar na kore prahar. Everyone offers obeisances to a sannyasi. No one dares to beat one. Gaudiya Bhashya. This is a long Gaudiya Bhashya. Oh my God. Okay. The brahmacharis, grihastas, and vanaprasthas engage in activities of contradictory nature to achieve their respective aims of life in life. To completely renounce everything is called sannyas. When one gives up the fruits of one's karma, it is called karma sannyas. When one gives up all forms of material knowledge, it is called gyan sannyas. When one gives up the propensity for enjoying material objects and becomes inclined towards the service of the Supreme Lord, then one sannyasa on the path of devotional service is successful. The goals of a karma sannyasi are religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification. The goal of a jnana sannyasi is liberation, and the goal of a Vaishnava sannyasi is Krishna Prem. Accepting sannyas does not disturb anyone because the desired object of a sannyasi is not cherished by others. Nobody attacks a sannyasi. People consider sannyasis beggars and therefore accept them as candidates for compassion. When Krishna Chandra Singha entered into litigation in many court cases and became the object of hatred for many people in Vrajmandal, he accepted sannyas on the path of anurag, or attachment for the Supreme Lord. As a result, all the Vrajvasis gave up attacking him. Yet, because of not understanding the purport of accepting sannyas on the path of devotional service, Many ignorant people have attacked the Tridandi sannyasis of the Sri Vishva Vaishnava Raj Sabha. We do not blame those who attack, but their foolishness and ignorance are to be blamed. We do not blame those who attack, but their foolishness and ignorance are to be blamed. Interesting. I need to share this with Vaijanti Mala because I'll share this later though. Let me just put this here. This topic came up because there's a quote by Param Gurudev that seems to say the opposite of that, but I think people were misunderstanding it, and this seems to, yeah, okay. Since the influence of Kali was not very prominent during the time of Sri Gaurasundar, most people did attack sannyasis, but envious persons devoid of good character and morality have always attacked the Tridandi sannyasis. I think this is supposed to say didn't. Yeah, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Since the influence of Kali was not very prominent during the time of Gaurasundar, most people didn't attack sannyasis because if the Kali, yeah. But envious persons devoid of good character and morality have always attacked the Tridandi sannyasis. What to speak of this? They have even found faults in the worship of Hari, the abode of Hari, and the principles of pure Varnashram Dharma. Many people become angry when they are told that consuming intoxicants is not included among religious principles. They become angry when they are told that immorality is not included among religious principles. They become angry when they are told that one should not accumulate wealth for oneself, even through proper means, and what to speak of accumulating wealth by cheating and stealing. And they become angry when they are told that duplicity is not included among religious principles. Envious people who claim to be religious become more envious on hearing that material advancement is not the goal of life, that one should not become envious, and that one should discuss religious principles without partiality. They consider that those who wear the dress of religious people are irreligious like themselves, and then they quarrel with them and induce others to unjustly quarrel with them. Those greedy to attain the fame of religious people and who are unable to control themselves hypocritically dress as religious people on the pretext of worshiping many gods and accepting the preaching of unauthorized principles as the preaching of religious principles. They present immoral activities as religious principles while trying to negate the existence of the Supreme Lord, his abode, and the activities of devotional service. The Tridandi sannyasis do not pay any attention to their words, but offenselessly chant the names of the Lord, serve the abode of the Lord without desire for material enjoyment, and pursue Krishna prema while giving up sense gratification and engaging in the service of Krishna, the transcendental Cupid. Hypocrites try to attract the sympathy of ordinary people by accumulating wealth in the name of cultivating religious principles, by screaming in the name of delivering religious discourses at assemblies and meetings, and by accumulating their livelihood through professional recitation of the scriptures. The day that these envious people actually disassociate themselves from their pride in the form of aversion to Hari, they will learn to respect the sannyasis on the path of devotional service, and they will see that none of the members of the Sri Vishva Vaishnava Raj Sabha welcome sense gratification and the spirit of enjoyment like they do. Rather, they purely follow in the footsteps of Chaitanya Chandra. Every living entity will benefit by the attainment of devotional service to the Lord. That is why it is the nature of those devotees to transform all enjoyment-prone propensities into service-inclined propensities. The preachers of the Sri Vishva Vaishnava Raj Sabha do not use accumulated wealth or followers for their own purposes. They use everything for the service of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Unless one is initiated into the devotional service of Vishnu, one cannot understand these topics.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Sannyasi hoya kali prati ghare ghare bhiksha kori bolo dekho ke va more mare. As a sannyasi, I will soon wander from door to door begging. Let me see then who beats me. Tomare kohilo e apana hriday gari hasta vasamui chari bo nishchoy. I have thus revealed my heart to you. I will certainly give up household life. Ite kichu dukha tumi na bhavi ho mane, vidhi deho tumi more sannyasa karane. Do not feel distressed because of this. Give me your permission to take sannyas. Je rup koraho tumi, she hoibo ami, eteke vidhan deho, eteke vidhan deho avatar jani. I will do whatever you want, but you know the purpose of my incarnation. Oh, say Shri Mataji, I fixed that. Hari Bol Kishore Prabhu. I will do whatever you want, but you know the purpose of my incarnation. Jagat udar jadi chaho koribare, ihate nishedh nahi koribe amare. If you want the world delivered, I hope you will not forbid me from taking sannyas. Ite tumi dukha na bhavi ho kona khan, tumi to jano ho avatarer karan. Do not feel unhappy for even a moment, for you know the purpose of my incarnation. Shuni Nityananda Shri Shikhar Antardhan, Antare Vidirna Hoilo Mana Deho Pran. Nityananda's mind, body, and life airs were shattered when he heard that the Lord would shave his head. Yeah, Nityananda's mind, body, and life airs were shattered when he heard that the Lord would shave his head. Kon vidhi dibo heno na aise badane avashya koribe prabhu jani jani lena mane. He had no advice to offer, for he knew that the Lord would certainly take sannyas. Nityananda bole Prabhu, tumi ichha moy, je tomar ichha Prabhu, she nishchoy. Nityananda said, O Lord, you are supremely independent. Whatever you desire will certainly take place. Vidivani sher tomare dete pare, she satya je tomar achaye antare. Who can tell you what to do or what not to do? Whatever is in your heart is inevitable. Sarva lokapal tumi sarva lokanath, bhalo hoy je mate she viditi tomato. You are the maintainer and lord of all planets. You know well what is proper for you. Je rupe koriba prabhu jagat udhar, tumi she janoe taha ke janoe ar. You alone know how you will deliver the people of the world. Swatantra Paramananda Tomar Charita, Tumi Je Koribe She Hoibe Nishchita. You are independent and full of transcendental bliss. Therefore, whatever you wish to do will certainly be done. Thanks, Rukmini Didi. Tatapiha koho shab seva sthane, keva ki boloye taha shunoho apane. Still, you may ask your servants to see what they have. Still, you may ask your servants to see what they have to say. Nityananda Prabhu said, Tabe je tomar ichha koribe tahare, ke tomar ichha Prabhu virodhite pare. Then do whatever you desire, O Lord, for who can change your will? Nityananda Vakhe Prabhu Santosh hoila, puna puna alingana korite lagila. On hearing Nityananda's words, the Lord is satisfied and repeatedly embraced him. E mata Nityananda shange jukti kori, cholilen Vaishnava samaje goranga Shihari. After discussing with Nityananda in this way, Lord Gauranga went to the assembly of Vaishnavas. Griha chadi ben Prabhu jani Nityananda, bahya nahi spure deho, hoilo nishpanda. As Nityananda realized that the Lord would leave home, he lost external consciousness and his body was stunned. Sthir hoye Nityananda mane mane gane, Prabhu gele ai pran dhoribo kemone. After becoming pacified, Nityananda thought, how will Mother Shachi survive when the Lord leaves home? Kemote vanchivo ai kala divarati, ete ko chintite murcha, pai mahamati. How will Mother Shachi pass her days and nights? Thinking like this, the exalted Nityananda practically lost consciousness. Bhavya airduk Nityananda Rai, Nibrite Boshia Prabhu Kandaye Sadai. Realizing how Mother Shachi would suffer, Lord Nityananda went to a solitary place and continuously cried. Mukunder Bashai, Aila Gora Chandra, Dekhiya Mukunda Hoila Parama Ananda. Gora Chandra went to the house of Mukunda. When Mukunda saw the Lord, he felt great ecstasy. Prabhu bole gao kichu Krishner mangal, Mukunda gayan Prabhu shuniya vival. The Lord said, sing about the auspicious glories of Krishna. As Mukunda sang, the Lord became overwhelmed. Bolo bolo hunkar koroe dvijamani, punyavanta Mukunder shuni divya dhvani. On hearing the fortunate Mukunda's melodious singing, the crest jewel of the Brahmins roared loudly, Bolo, bolo, chant, chant. Koneke korila Prabhu bhava samvaran, Mukunder sange tabe kohen kathan. After a while, the Lord controlled his emotions and began to speak with Mukunda. Prabhu bole Mukunda shunaho kichu katha, Bahir hoibo ami narohibo heta. The Lord said, O Mukunda, listen to me. I will not stay here. I will leave home. Kari hasti ami chari baya shunishchita, shikha sutra chariya cholibo jete bhita. I will leave household life. I will give up my shikha and Brahman thread and go where I please. Gaudiya Bhashya. Another long Gaudiya Bhashya. Let's see. The Karmi and Gyani sannyasis abandon material enjoyment and give up their shikha and Brahman thread for the sake of renunciation. Śrī Caitanya-dev's renunciation of his shikha was meant to prove a point to the Mayavadi Gyanis. The Tridandi sannyasis engage their shikha and Brahman threads in the service of the Supreme Lord. That is why they keep their shikha and Brahman threads while accepting Tridanda sannyas, according to the Madhva Gaudiya line. Following in the footsteps of the Madhva Gaudiya line, Tridandi Bhikshu Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati, who belonged to the Śrī Sampradaya, also kept his shikha and Brahman thread. Vallabhacharya, who belonged to the Śrī Gadādhara branch, preserved his shikha and Brahman thread at the time of accepting Tridandi sannyas. Śrī Vishnuswami, Śrī Ramanuja, and Śrī Nimbaditya were all sannyasis with shikhas and Brahman threads. In the Madhva Sampradaya, only the Tīrthas have even today the provision to give up their shikhas and Brahman threads. Only the Tīrthas do. In the Madhva Gaudiya line, the Vrajvasi 6 Goswamis accepted Tridandi sannyas based on Śrī Upadeshamrita, and according to the principles of Paramahamsas, some of them did not even wear saffron cloth. Therefore, it is to be understood that they were Paramahamsas. This does not mean that Tridanda sannyasis aspiring to progress should give up saffron cloth. Their spiritual masters, however, may not need to wear saffron cloth. Retaining saffron cloth does not disturb the principles of a Paramahamsa. Those Paramahamsas with shikhas and Brahman threads who traverse the Paramahamsa path under the shelter of Sri Gaurachandra do not give up their shikhas and Brahman threads. This is known as Śrī Caitanya-dev's shikha. Interesting. And then there's, in square brackets, it says, Even today, it is the practice in Bengal to call the shika, or tuft of hair on the devotees, Śrī Caitanya Shika. That's very interesting. And shika is a corrupted form of the word shiksha, which means teaching. Shika. Okay, so Mahaprabhu told Mukunda, I will leave household life. I will give up my shika and Brahman thread, and I will go where I please. Shri Shikar Antardhan, Shuniya Mukunda, Porilo Viraheshav, Ghuchilo Ananda. Hearing that the Lord would shave his shika, Mukunda fell into lamentation and lost all sense of happiness. Kakuti Koriya Vole Mukunda Mahashai. Jadi Prabhu emot she koriba nishchoy. Din koto e rupe koroho kirtane. Tave Prabhu koriba she je tomar mane. In great humility, Mukunda Mahashai said, O Lord, if you must take sannyas, then first please perform kirtan a few more days as you have been doing. Then do as you please. Mukunder Bhakya Shuni Shri Gaur Sundar Cholilen Jathai Achen Gadādhara. After hearing the appeal of Mukunda, Shri Gaurasundar went to the residence of Gadādhara. Sambrame Charana Bandi Len Gadādhara Prabhu Bole Shuno Kichu Amar Uttar. Gadādhara respectfully offered his obeisances to the Lord, who said, Listen to what I have to say. Na rahibo Gadādhara ami griha vase, jete dike cholibaya Krishner uddeshe. O Gadādhara, I will not remain at home. I will go out to search for Krishna. Shika sutra sarvathai ami na rakhibo, mata muraiya jete dike choli jabo. I will certainly give up my shika and Brahman thread. After shaving my head, I will go wherever I please. Shri Shikar Antardhan Shuni Gadādhara Vajrapat Jeno Hoilo Shirer Upar. On hearing that the Lord would give up his shika, Gadādhara felt as though he had been struck in the head by a thunderbolt. Gadādhara felt as though he had been struck in the head by a thunderbolt. Antare dukhita hoy bole Gadādhara Jatika Arbhut Prabhu Tomar Uttar. In distress, Gadādhara said, O Lord, your statement is quite puzzling. Shika Sutra Guchaile She Krishna Pai Grihasta Tomar Mate Vaishnav Kinai. Are you saying that a Grihasta cannot be a Vaishnav and that one attains Krishna by giving up his shika and Brahman thread? Mata Muraile Prabhu Kiba Karma Hoy Tomar She Mata Ebeder Matanai. O Lord, is this the benefit of shaving one's head? This is just your opinion. It is not the opinion of the Vedas. Gaudiya Bhashya. Shri Gadādhara said, if one is a householder, is he unable to perform devotional service to Vishnu? Is this the purport of the Vedas? So can one become advanced simply by giving up one's shika and Brahman thread like the impersonalists do to make a show of devotional service to Hari? If one remains as a householder and worships Hari, then his mother is pleased. All his friends and relatives also become happy. Shri Gaurasundar gave up the company of his envious friends and companions to teach that unfavorable family life must be given up. Another purpose of Shri Gaurasundar was to teach to everyone to become free from the Prakrit Sahajya principles based on illicit household life that have nowadays spread throughout India. It is the duty of every human being to always worship Hari in whatever ashram one is situated. If people considering household life as favorable engage in mundane activities like offering oblations to the forefathers under the direction of smarta principles that are unfavorable to devotional service, or if people who are averse to the Supreme Lord are offered respect to satisfy the public, Then the devotees of the Lord lose respect in the eyes of ignorant people. To demonstrate this, Śrī Gaurasundar enacted the pastime of accepting sannyas according to proper regulations. Oh, Haribol, Indira Mataji. Okay. Oh, Siddhanti Maharaj just arrived in New Braj, and last minute notice he'll be speaking Harikatha in 10 minutes. Okay. Great, you get to hear from Siddhanti Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Indira Mataji. Okay, so Gadādhara Pandit said, "Oh Lord, is this the benefit of shaving one's head? This is just your opinion. It is not the opinion of the Vedas. Anathini mayere vakemote charibe pratame janani vadher bhagi habe." How will you leave your widowed mother? You will from the outset become responsible for your mother's death. Tumi gele sarvata jivan nahi tan sabe avashishta acho tumi tar pran. She will certainly not survive if you leave, for you are the only one she has left, and you are her life and soul. Gharete thakile ki ishwarer pritanoy grihasta she sabar priter stali hoy. Is the Supreme Lord not pleased if one stays at home? A householder is liked by everyone. Tatapio mata mundai le swastya pao je tomar icha tai kori choli jao. Still, if you are pleased by shaving your head, then leave if that is what you desire. Emata apta vaishnaver sthane sthane shikha sutra ghuchaimo polila apane. In this way, the Lord personally informed his intimate devotees, "I will give up my shikha and Brahman thread." So first Nityananda Prabhu, then Mukunda, and then finally Gadādhara. And I think it's, Nityananda's and Gadādhara's primary concern was Shachimata, as we see. Sabe shuniya Shri Shikhar Antardhan Murchita Podoe Karu Nahi Dehe Gyan. Those who heard that he would shave his shikha fell unconscious and lost all perception of their bodies. Koriben Mahaprabhu Shikhar Mundan Shri Shikha Sangariya Kande Sarva Bhaktagan. When the devotees thought about the Lord shaving off his shikha, they all cried. Keho bole she sundar chanchar chikure ar mala gantiya ki divata upare. Someone said, how will I again make a flower garland to decorate his beautiful curly hair? Keho bole na dekhiya she kesha bandhan kemote rohibe e papishta jivan. Another said, how will I maintain this sinful life without seeing his nicely bound hair? She kesher divya gandha na loibo ar eto boli shire koro hana e apar. Someone slapped his head while saying, I will no longer smell the divine fragrance of his hair. Keho bole she sundar keshe ar bar amalaka diya ki ba koribo samskar. Someone else said, how will I again wash his beautiful hair with amalaki? Hari Hari boli keho kande uchay sware dubilen bhaktagan dukher sagare. Others cried loudly while exclaiming, Hari Hari. In this way, the devotees drown in the ocean of distress. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata chandajan Vrindavana dāsa tochu padajugegan. Accepting Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends the English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary on Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Madhya-khaṇḍa chapter 26 entitled Descriptions of the Mercy Bestowed on Śuklāmbara and Vijay and the Lord's Desire to Accept Sannyāsa. Oof, heavy. And so today, on the day that Mahaprabhu actually took sannyas, on this Purnima today, we now finished reading the introduction, the prelude to Mahaprabhu's taking sannyas. And we'll continue reading from this tomorrow and the day after. Only 2 more days of reading, and then we will complete the Madhya-khaṇḍa. So now it is 8 o'clock. That gives us half an hour to read about Śrīla Vrindavan Das Ṭhākura. If we manage to finish this chapter by Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Gosvāmī Mahārāja, I'm not sure how long it will take to read, but if there's extra time, then maybe we can open up that book, A Life of Devotion, and read about Śrīla Bhakti Prabhu Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja's mother, Srimati Rangini Devi, who disappeared today. But we'll see. Okay, so Śrīla Narottam Das Ṭhākura, from the book Śrī Caitanya and His Associates by Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Akumar Brahmachari Sarva Tīrtha Darshi Parama Bhagavato Tama Śrīla. Sorry, I'm in Bengali verse, like Poyad reading mode right now. So Akumar, God, I can't get out of it. Akumar Brahmachari Sarva Tīrtha Darshi Parama Bhagavatottama Śrīla Narottama dāsa, whatever. Śrīla Narottam Das was a brahmachari throughout his entire life. He visited all the places of pilgrimage. He was on the highest platform of devotional achievement. That's from Bhakti Ratnakar 1-279. Narottam Thakur was Champak Manjari in Krishna Lila, eternally assisting Rupa Manjari in her service to Radha and Krishna. Champak Manjari had mercy on the conditioned souls of this earth and appeared as Narottam Thakur in the village of Keturi, about 12 miles from Rampur Bowalia in the Gopalpur subdivision of the Rajshahi district. This took place on the full moon day of the month of Magh, sometime around the middle of the 15th century of the Shaka era. Today is the full moon day in the month of Magh. So here's a quote from Bhakti Ratnakar. It says, Narottam was born on the Maghi Purnima. From that day on, he thrived and grew like the waxing moon. Narottam Thakur's father was Raj Krishnananda Datta, the Zamindar of the Gopalpur area. His mother's name was Narayani Devi. Raja Krishnananda had an elder brother, and according to others' opinion, a younger brother, named Purushottam Datta, who had a son named Santosh Datta. In order to show that his associates can take birth in any caste, Lord Krishna had Narottam Thakur take birth in a Kayastha family. And many of our acharyas have taken birth in Kayastha families. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was, right? And my Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Gurgan Keshav Goswami Maharaj was, and others also. Right? Datta. That means Rukmini Didi, who's with us today, she's also Kayastha, I guess, right? Because it's Datta. Kishore says, this Leela is bittersweet. On one side, I want to be with the Navadip Vasis. I don't want Gaur to take sannyas. But if Mahaprabhu did not take, where would he be? Where would I be? How would I be delivered? How would I know about Krishna? Not I, but we. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, very good, very wonderful point. Yes. Okay. So Lord Krishna had Narottam Thakur take birth in a Kayastha family to show that his associates can take birth in any caste. A Vaishnava is beyond the qualities of the material nature. In order to teach this to the world, the Lord had Haridas Thakur take birth in a Maletra family. Anyone who considers a devotee in terms of his birth or race is destined for a hellish existence. Arche Vishnu Shiladhir Gurushuna Matir Vaishnave Jati Buddhir. This is the same meter as Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vishnurva Vaishnavanam Kalim Malamatane Pada Tīrtem Buddhi. Shri Vishnur Namni Mantre Shakala Kalushahe Shabda Samanya Buddhir Vishnu Sarveshware. Sorry, I'm not good at doing it though. Vishnu Sarveshwareshe Taritara Samadhir Yasya Va Narakisa. So this is from Padma Purana. It says, anyone who considers the deity of Vishnu to be nothing but stone, the Guru to be an ordinary human being, or the Vaishnav to be a member of a particular caste or race, who takes the holy water, which one who takes the holy water which has washed who has washed Vishnu or the Vaishnav's feet and can destroy all the sins of the age of Kali, one who considers that to be ordinary water, or who thinks that the name of mantra of Vishnu, which destroys all evils, is the same as any other sound, or who takes Vishnu to be the same as anything other than him, that person suffers hellish existence. Yasyava narakisa. That person lives in hell. From his early childhood, Narottam Thakur began to show signs of his future greatness. Everyone was amazed to see his great intelligence and devotional demeanor. He was constantly absorbed in meditation on the wonderful qualities of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Nityananda Prabhu, and had not even an iota of interest in the opulence of his father. The Lord and his associates appeared to him in his dreams. This is a quote from Bhakti Ratnakar. It says, as tears poured from his eyes, Narottam would offer prayers of surrender to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita, and the other associates of the Lord. Finally, the Lord and his associates appeared to him in a dream and consoled him with kind words. Now, Mahaprabhu leaves Prem behind for Narottam. According to the Prem Vilas, when Mahaprabhu passed through Kanar Natshala, as he was dancing ecstatically in Kirtan, he began to call out Narottam's name. When Nityananda Prabhu asked him why he was calling out this name, Mahaprabhu answered, my Lord, you do not know your own glories. On your way to Jagannath Puri, you shed tears out of divine love day after day. I managed to capture your divine love and save it. Now I wish to place it here by the Padmavati river in safekeeping for Narottam Das. So this is Mahaprabhu telling Nityananda Prabhu that on your way to Jagannath Puri, you shed tears out of divine love day after day. I managed to capture your divine love and save it. And now I wish to place it here by the Padmavati river in safekeeping for Narottam Das. Wow, that's interesting. I don't remember, I never remember hearing that part before. I mean, like I knew that Mahaprabhu kept Prem there at the Padmavati river for Narottam Das Thakur, but I didn't realize that it was Mahaprabhu said that he was capturing the tears of divine love that Nityananda Prabhu, he managed to capture that divine love and save it, that love of Nityananda Prabhu, and keep that for Narottam Das Thakur. Mahaprabhu then went to the place known as Kutubpur on the Padmavati river, where he bathed and sang and danced in ecstasy. He then called out to the river, O Padmavati, take this love and keep it here in strict confidence. When Narottam comes and bathes here, give it to him. Padmavati inquired, how will I recognize him? Mahaprabhu answered, you will have no trouble recognizing Narottam, for as soon as he enters your waters, you will overflow. The place where Mahaprabhu placed Prem for Narottam Thakur's sake was later given the name Prem Toli. When Narottam Thakur was 12 years old, he had a dream in which Nityananda Prabhu told him to bathe in the Padmavati and take the Prem, which had been stored there for him. One day he went to the Padmavati, and as soon as he put his foot in the water, the river started to overflow. The Padmavati then remembered Mahaprabhu's words and gave Narottam Thakur the prem she had guarded for all that time. Narottam leaves home. As soon as he experienced the ecstasies of prem, Narottam Thakur's character, his appearance, everything about him changed. His parents noticed the transformation and did everything they could to bring him back to his normal state, but failed. Having drunk the wine of divine ecstasy, Narottam had become intoxicated, and the bonds of family life could no longer hold him back. Narottam began to wonder how he could escape from his material entanglements. Finally, one day, when his father and uncle were away on official business, he practiced some deception on his mother and tricked his bodyguards so that he could leave family for Vrindavan. This event took place on Kartik Purnima. The story of Narottam Das Thakur and Raghunath Das Goswami is very similar, like in many ways. According to others, Narottam Thakur waited to go to Vrindavan until after the death of his father and handing over the responsibility for the zamindari to his cousin Santosh. Even though he was a son of a rich zamindar, in his desire to unite with the Lord, he was ready to abandon the pleasures of the body in a moment. He is ready to abandon all pleasures of the body. Day and night, walking barefoot, crying, forgetting to eat and drink. Finally, he fell unconscious under a tree. A golden-skinned Brahmin came and offered him a cup of milk and said to him in a sweet voice, "Oh, Narottam, drink this milk. Your cuts and bruises will go away. Your journey will be comfortable." After saying this, the Brahmin vanished, and the exhausted Narottam fell asleep. That night, he dreamt of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. The two Goswamis placed their hands on his chest and fed him the milk that Mahaprabhu himself had brought him. All of Narottam's fatigue disappeared. Wow. Never heard that story. That's amazing. Narottam is initiated by Lokanath Goswami. The Prem Vilas also describes how Narottam Thakur took initiation from Lokanath Goswami in Vrindavan. Narottam Thakur was born on the full moon day of Magh. His renunciation took place on the full moon day of Kartik, and he was initiated by Lokanath Goswami on the full moon day of Shravan. Very interesting. So at least 3 full moon days, or very significant days in the life of Narottam Das Thakur. What is it? He took birth on Maghi Purnima. He took renunciation on Kartiki Purnima. And he was initiated by Lokanath on Shravan Purnima. Lokanath Goswami is a direct disciple and a personal associate of Śrī Caitanya-Mahaprabhu. Indeed, he was the first Gaudiya Vaishnav to be instructed by the Lord to go to Vrindavan, along with Pugarbha Goswami. Lokanath Goswami set the standard for worship in a spirit of renunciation while in the holy dham. He was a Viviktanandi Vaishnav, that is, a hermit, one who worships the Lord in solitude. In this spirit, Lokanath had vowed not to take any disciples. But Narottam Das Thakur too made a vow. His vow was to take initiation from no one other than Lokanath Goswami. So someone's vow had to be broken, either Lokanath Goswami's or Narottam Das Thakur's. Let's see. Though he was the son of a Raja, Narottam Thakur's desire to receive Lokanath Goswami's mercy was so great that when he went in the middle of his desire to receive the mercy of Lokanath Goswami was so great that he went in the middle of every night to clean the place that he used as a toilet. He would also leave fine earth and water for him to clean himself afterwards. This is described as follows in the Prem Vilas. Narottam went to the place where the Goswami performed his bodily functions and did a special job of cleaning it. He sifted the earth to make fine, clean earth with which Lokanath Goswami could clean his hands. He would hide his He would hide his coconut leaf broom and take it out each night to sweep the place clean, his heart filled with joy. All these things he did as a regular service. He considered himself to be fortunate to have this service, and then made his body worthwhile. And he considered that this service made his body worthwhile. He would hold the broom to his chest, repeating, "This is the power that will help me attain my Lord's lotus feet." As he said these words, he cried, and torrents of tears washed over his chest. Lokanath Goswami was astonished to see that the place was daily being kept clean and free from foul smell. He became curious to find out who was doing it. And so, one evening, he went and hid in the jungle, chanting japa the entire night in wait for the anonymous benefactor. At midnight, he saw someone engaged in cleaning the place and asked him who he was. When he found out that Narottam, the son of a king, was doing this task, he felt embarrassed and told him to desist. Narottam, however, immediately fell at Lokanath Goswami's feet and began to cry. When Lokanath Goswami saw Narottam Thakur's humility and pain, his resolve softened, and he finally gave him initiation. Thus, Narottam Thakur gave an outstanding example to the outstanding example to the world of how one should serve one's spiritual master. Now here's a quote from Bhakti Ratnakar. Narottam went there and engaged in whatever service was necessary to his guru, performing it with great enthusiasm. Lokanath Goswami was pleased by Narottam's service and showed him the greatest mercy by initiating him in the mantra. And now here's another quote from Bhakti Ratnakar. Without caring for his youth or his looks, he left home on the full moon day of the month of Kartik. After wandering through many pilgrimage places, he finally came to Vrindavan, where he became Lokanath Goswami's disciple. On the auspicious day of Shravani Purnima, Lokanath Goswami initiated Narottam Thakur. Narottam Das was thus Lokanath Goswami's one and only disciple. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, the founder of the worldwide Śrī Caitanya Math and Śrī Gaudiya Maths, demonstrated similar one-pointed faith and service to the lotus feet of his spiritual master, and perseverance and patience in order to obtain his mercy. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Mahārāja, like Lokanath Goswami, had vowed to take no disciples. He refused Srila Prabhupada 3 times, but this did not break Prabhupada's will. When Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Mahārāja saw his humility and intense desire, he finally relented and gave him mantra diksha. Srila Prabhupada was Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Mahārāja's only disciple. It's a really nice parallel. After the disappearance of Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis, Sri Jiva Goswami became the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya's undisputed acharya throughout Mathura, Bengal, and Odisha, and the chief of the universal court of the Vaishnavas at Vrindavan, the Vishva Vaishnava Raj Sabha. Srinivas, Narottam, and Dukhi Krishnadas all studied the scriptures under Jiva Goswami, receiving detailed personal instruction from him. Jiva Goswami gave them the titles of Acharya, Thakur, and Shamananda, respectively. Narottam returns to Bengal. Jiva Goswami sent his 3 students to Bengal with the Vaishnava scriptures. Sri Jiva Goswami heard the news that the books had been stolen in Bon Vishnupur, and then later that they had been recovered by Srinivasacharya. This story has been told in his book in the chapter on Srinivasacharya. Lokanath Goswami considered Narottam Thakur's previous life as a wealthy zamindar to be particularly suitable for preaching in his home area of northern Bengal, and thought that with his status, he would be able to teach the standards of renounced devotional behavior. Out of compassion for that country's people, he ordered Narottam Ṭhākura to return to his hometown of Keturi. Srinivasacharya was aware of Lokanath Goswami's intention. So, when the books were stolen, he told Narottam Ṭhākura to continue on his way to preach in Keturi and North Bengal. Srinivasacharya said, "Go quickly to Keturi and carry out Lokanath Prabhu's orders." That's from Bhakti Ratnakar 7:119. Anchorite devotees, Viviktanandis. Sometimes Bhakti Ballabha Tirtha Goswami has the most really awesome vocabulary, words that I'm not very familiar with though. So an anchorite is a religious recluse. Cool. Okay, so anchorite devotees, Viviktanandis, being absorbed in the intimate service of the Lord on a transcendental platform, normally have no taste for engaging in any welfare activity, which brings only temporary succor. I don't know what that word is. Succor, that means assistance and support in times of hardship and distress. To materialistic persons, bound by Maya and absorbed in their bodily identification. Although this book was translated from Bengali, so actually that's not his direct words. But yeah, it is true that Srila Bhakti Ballabha Tirtha Goswami has really neat vocabulary. Materialistic welfare activities are considered to be of great value only when there is a misunderstanding about the real goal of life, service to Krishna. Lokanath Goswami taught the world through his disciple on the principle that a housewife teaches the daughter-in-law by instructing the daughter-in-law. Sorry, did I say the wife teaches the daughter-in-law by instructing the daughter? Yes, she won't directly instruct the daughter-in-law. She'll use her own daughter as an example, and in that way indirectly teach the daughter-in-law. Though Narottam Ṭhākura himself was distraught with separation from his spiritual master, he nevertheless took his orders seriously and returned to Keturi, where he began preaching the doctrines of pure devotional service to the people of northern Bengal. Narottam Ṭhākura's humility and sorrow were expressed in his prarthana. Oh, this is from the song Hari Hari Kripa Kori Rakho Nejapade. Yeah, I'll get mine. Let me turn on sound, original sound for musicians. There. So you can hear the mridanga. Rukmini Didi saying that, yes, Srila Bhakti Ballabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj, her Gurudev, used to study the dictionary carefully for just the right word. That was one word, votary. That was a word that he used a lot. That I never knew before. Okay, so Hari Hari Kripa Kori Rakho Nija Pare Aneka Dukher Pore Loye Chile Vrajapure Kripa Dor Golaya Bandhiya Daiva Maya Balatkare Khasaiya She Dore Bhavakupe Dilek Dariya Bhavakupe Dilek Dariya Puna Jadi Kripa Kori E Janare Keshe Dhari Taniya Tuloho Vrajodhame Tobe she dekhiye bhalo Natuba parana gelo Kohe dina dāsa Narottame Kohe dina dāsa Narottame. After I had suffered for such a long time, you finally tied the rope of mercy around my neck and dragged me to Vrajadham. But now, the forces of fate and illusion have loosened that rope, and I have been thrown back down the well of material existence. If you would only be merciful to me and grab me by the hair, pulling me back into Vrajadham, then everything will seem right once again. If not, Narottam says, my life is over. On Lokanath Goswami's orders, Narottam Thakur installed 6 sets of deities in his temple in Keturi: Śrī Gauranga, Śrī Vallabhikanta, Śrī Vrajmohan, Śrī Krishna, Śrī Radhakant, and Śrī Radharaman. The great festival which he held on that occasion is still remembered in the Vaishnav world. Oh man, I want to go to Keturi so badly, but it costs too much money. Narottam Thakur arrived in the land of Goda, Navadvip. He had been ordered by Lokanath Goswami to establish the deity. He had been ordered by Lokanath Goswami to establish the deity service of both Gauranga and Krishna, to serve the Vaishnavas, and to preach the congregational chanting of the holy names. He immediately dedicated himself to carrying out these orders. First, he set about establishing the service of 6 sets of beautiful deities, whose names, taken together, bring joy to the heart of the devotees. This is from Bhakti Ratnakar. Gauranga Vallabhikanta Shri Krishna Vrajamohana Radharamana He Radhe Radhakanta Namostute. Oh my God, I see it is 8:28. Okay, if anybody needs to go, you're totally free to go. I'm going to continue reading, but I'm going to go way over time. So just want to let you know. Sorry about that. The great festival at Keturi. Prior to the Keturi Mahotsav, Narottam Das Thakur traveled throughout Bengal and Odisha, visiting various places where Mahaprabhu had performed his pastimes, meeting the Lord's associates and receiving their blessings. Amongst the places he visited were Uddharan Datta's home in Saptagram, Kardaha, where he met Parameshwari Das Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu's Shaktis, Janava and Vasudha, Kanakul Krishnanagar, the home of Abhiram Thakur, Shyamananda Prabhu's home in Narsingapur, the Shripats of Narahari Sarkar Thakur and Raghunandan Thakur in Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, the birthplace of Nityananda Prabhu in Ekachakra Dham, and in Jagannath Puri, Gopinath Acharya's home, Haridas Thakur's Samadhi temple, Gadādhara Pandit's place of worship, the Jagannath temple, and Gundicha temple, the Jagannath Vallabha gardens, Narendra Sarovar, etc. Most of the associates of Mahaprabhu of that time and other leaders of the Sampradaya came to Keturi on the occasion of the festival organized by Narottam Das Thakur. A list of these have been given by Narahari Chakravarti in his books Bhakti Ratnakar and Narottam Vilas. He says, Shyamananda Prabhu, Janava Devi, Parameshwari Das, Krishna Das Sarkela, Madhav Acharya, Raghupati Vaidya, Meena Kitan Ramdas, Murari Chaitanya Das, Jnana Das, Mahidhar, Sri Shankar, Kamalakar Pipalai, that's one of the Dwarash Gopals, I remember that name, Gauranga Das, Nakari, Krishna Das, Damodar, Balaram Das, Sri Mukunda, Vrindavan Das Thakur, Raghunandan Thakur, and other devotees from Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, Srinivas Pandit's brothers Shripati and Srinidhi from Navadvip, Advaita Acharya's sons Achyutananda, Gopal Mishra, and Krishna Mishra, they came from Shantipur, Hriday Chaitanya Prabhu, and other devotees from Ambika Kalna. Srinivas Acharya acted as the officiating priest at the festival and performed the rituals installing the deities. In the Kirtan festival held by Narottam Ṭhākura, Mahaprabhu and his associates appeared. So can you imagine? This is all these associates of Mahaprabhu, such a long list of associates. They traveled all that distance, all the way to Keturi. That's a long distance, by foot probably. Many of them at least. And then, in that festival though, all the associates of Mahaprabhu, they were reunited. All these associates of Mahaprabhu were reunited with Mahaprabhu. Right? Mahaprabhu and his associates appeared. Who can this is from Bhakti Ratnakar. Who can describe the joy of that kirtan? Mahaprabhu himself descended with all his associates in its midst, just like lightning in the conglomeration. I have a hard time saying that word. Of rain clouds. Conglomeration. God. Anyways, you get the word. Sorry, it's embarrassing. Okay. The kirtan was amazing. You could see Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya overcome with ecstasy and Gaura Chandra encircled by the devotees. What wonderful compassion the Lord displayed on that day. Who can understand these wonderful pastimes? What blessings he poured on Narottam and Srinivas, for they and their companions found the fulfillment of all their desires. Can you imagine? Achyutananda got to see Advaita Acharya again, and Gadādhara Pandit. You know, all these associates, they were finally reunited that they're feeling so much separation from. They were able to do kirtan with them. The kirtan, yeah. Janava Mata, she's able to be reunited with Nityananda Prabhu. After the Keturi festival, Narottam Thakur's fame spread throughout the Vaishnava world. Prominent Brahmanas like Ramakrishna Acharya and Ganga Narayan Chakravarti became his disciples. That's the Param Gurudev or Parameshri Gurudev of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Narottam's preaching adventures. Narahari Chakravarti extensively described Narottam Thakur's activities in his Narottam Vilas. One can understand his outstanding accomplishments by reading this book. Some of these are given here. In Gopalpur village lived a Brahman named Vipradas. He had a poisonous snake living in his wicker grain storage bin, his gola. When Narottam Thakur visited Vipradas's house, the snake vanished, and deities of Gaur and Vishnu Priya appeared in its place. Gaurasundar and his beloved Vishnu, this is from Bhakti Ratnakar, quote, Gaurasundar and his beloved Vishnu Priya came out of the gola and climbed into Narottam's lap in plain view of everyone. Everyone was quite amazed. These same deities are being served today in Gompila. A certain Smarta Brahman scholar blasphemed Narottam Thakur, calling him a Shudra. The result of this offense was that he was attacked by leprosy. After suffering for some time, he was given a vision of the goddess in a dream. She told him to fall at Narottam Dasa's feet and beg for forgiveness, and it was only after he followed this advice that the Brahman was freed from his terrible disease. Hari Ramacharya and Ramakrishna Acharya, the sons of Shivananda Acharya, were taking a goat and a buffalo to be offered as a sacrifice to the goddess on the order of their father. They met Narottam Thakur and Ramachandra Kaviraj on the way, and were attracted by their effulgent beauty. Narottam Thakur advised the two young Brahmins to abandon worship in the modes of passion and ignorance that entailed violence to animals, and to worship the Supreme Lord without any desire. The brothers immediately let the goat and buffalo go, and they bathed in the Padmavati river. They then took initiation from Narottam Thakur and dedicated their lives to the service of Lord Krishna and his devotees. Shivananda Acharya became angry when he heard about this. He called a Smarta scholar from Mithila and named Murari to come and defeat Narottam Thakur's Vaishnava philosophy. However, Hari Ram and Ramakrishna were given divine blessings by their guru and were able to defeat every one of the Smarta's arguments with scriptural evidence. Defeated, Shivananda Acharya went to pray to the goddess. She appeared to him that night in a dream and rebuked him for his enmity towards the Vaishnavas and told him to cease all such behavior. In the course of time, Ganga Narayan Chakravarti, Jagannatacharya, and other well-known Brahmins started to become Narottam Thakur's disciples. This caused a stir in the Smarta community, and out of jealousy, they went to complain to Raj Narasingha. They said, "Narottam is a Shudra who makes disciples of Brahmins. He is using some kind of mystic powers or hypnotism to convert them. He should be stopped." After a discussion of the matter with Raj Narasingha, it was decided that a scholar named Rupa Narayan should be summoned to debate Narottam Thakur. This Brahmin had won numerous debates of this sort, and he was known as a Vijay. The Raj himself would set off with Rupa Narayan toward the village of Keturi. Ramachandra Kaviraj and Ganga Narayan Chakravarti were upset to see the wicked intentions of the Raja and his Pandit. When they heard that the Raja and his entourage were resting overnight in Kumarpur village, they went in disguise as a potter and a pond seller and set up stalls in the village market. When the students of the Smarta Brahmins came through the market, Ramachandra and Ganga Narayan spoke with them in Sanskrit. The Brahmins were astounded that even ordinary stall keepers in the village were able to speak in Sanskrit. Ramachandra and Ganga Narayan began a debate with the Brahmins, defeating every Smarta arguments that they put forward. The Raja and other Brahmins were amazed to hear this and personally came there, only to be defeated in their arguments. Ramachandra Acharya and Ganga Narayan Acharya established the pure doctrine of devotional service. The Raj and his Digvijay Pandit were rendered speechless by the scholarship of the two ordinary stall keepers. When they learned that the two men were disciples of Narottam Das Thakur, the king said to his Pandit, "If Narottam Thakur's common disciples can defeat you in a debate, there is no need of going to see him." But once again, the goddess appeared to King Narasingha and Rupa Narayan and ordered them to go to Narottam Thakur and pray for forgiveness for their offenses. The two of them did so and became devotees of Radha and Krishna. Two songs by Narottam. In the Gaudiya Vaishnava Abhidhan, the following comments are found. Narottam Thakur's ashram was in a place called Bhajantuli, about 2 miles from the capital city, Keturi. Narottam Thakur did his preaching through kirtan. He created an amazing melody of kirtan known as Garan Hati. He wrote 2 books, Prarthana and Prem Bhakti Chandrika, which are the very life of the devotees. He has written songs which are appropriate for every devotional mood, and this is what touches the devotees' hearts. These 2 books are so popular that they have been published countless times. Narottam Thakur's influence can be appreciated even in distant Manipur, where everyone agrees that the Vaishnava religion spread through his spiritual potency. His devotional songs are sung in every home throughout Manipur state. Srinivasacharya's disciple Ramachandra Kaviraj was Narottam Thakur's dearest companion. Narottam Thakur received news of Ramachandra Kaviraj's disappearance first. Not long afterwards, he heard of Srinivasacharya's disappearance. He wrote the following song in the mood of separation. It is capable of melting even a stone-like heart. I'm going to just read it and sing this kind of quickly because time's running away. Ajaya nilo prema dhana karuna prachod Heno Prabhu kotha gela acharya Thakur Kaha mor swarup rupa Kaha sanatan Kaha dāsa raghunata patita pavan Kaha mor bhatta juga Kaha kaviraj Eka kale kotha gela gora nataraj Pashane kutibo mata anale poshibo Gauranga guner nidhi kotha gele pabo Sheshab Shangir Shange Je Koilo Vilas She Sangana Paya Kande Narottama Das. Where has Acharya Ṭhākura, who out of great mercy for the world brought the wealth of love, where has he gone? Where are my Swarup and Rupa? Where is Sanatan? Where has Raghunath Das, the deliverer of the most fallen, gone? Where are Raghunath Bhatta and Gopala Bhatta? Where is Krishna Das Kaviraj? Where has the king of the dance, Gauranga, suddenly disappeared to? I will beat my head against the rocks or enter the flames. But where can I go find that ocean of virtue, Gauranga? Deprived of the association of all those companions of the Lord, Narottam Das can do nothing but cry. Well, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj, I went in a darshan and we asked him about this verse for the Gaudiya Giti Gucha, and he said that Sheshab Sangir Shange Jai Koilo Vilas. Jai Koilo Vilas refers to Srinivasacharya. So the association of he who engaged in pastimes with all these associates of Mahaprabhu, all these Sangigan. So not attaining the association of he who associated with all these associates of Mahaprabhu, Narottam Das Thakur weeps. Actually, just yesterday I translated something by Narottam Das Thakur. It's a song called Ki Karama, what is it? Ki Mor Karama Gati Manda. And the last verse is very similar to this, of that song. Narottam Das Thakur was the topmost of the followers of Rupa Goswami, Mahaprabhu's close associate. His unparalleled devotion to Rupa Goswami can be recognized from the following song. Shri Rupa Manjari Para, She Mora Sampara, She Mor Bhajana Pujan, She Mora Pranadhana, She Mora Yabharana, She Mor Jivan Nirjivan, She Mora Sanidhi, She Mor Vancha Siddhi, She Mor Vedera Dharama, She Vrata, She Tapa, She Mora Mantra Japa, She Mora Dharama Karama, Anukula Habe Vidhi, She Pade Hoibe Siddhi, Nirakhibo Edu Inayane, She Rupa Madhuri Rashi, Prana Kubalaya Shashi, Prapulita Habe Nishidine, Tua Darshana Yahi, Karale Jarala Dehi, Chiradina Tapita Jivan, Haha Prabhu Korataya, Deho More Pada Chaya, Narottama Loi Lo Sharan, Narottama Loi Lo Sharan. Shri Rupa Manjari's feet are my treasure. They are my object of worship, and they are my devotional service. They are the wealth of my life. They are my ornament. They are the life of my life. They are my ocean of nectar. They are the perfection of my desire. They are my Vedic prescripts. They are my vow. They are my austerity. They are the mantra that I chant. They are my religious duty. When Providence is kind to me, I will find perfection by attaining Sri Rupa Manjari's feet, and will be able to behold them with my own eyes. The abundant, sweet beauty of her lotus feet will shine like the moon upon the lily of my heart, causing it to blossom in jubilation day and night. The snake of your absence has burned up my body with its poison. I have suffered this pain for so long. O my master, be merciful to me. Give me the shade of your feet, for I, Narottam Das, seek refuge there. Okay, so that is our reading for today. We will end now with the Narottamashtak by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Ṭhākura. I'll just read the translation and then we can sing it. I offer my repeated obeisances to Srila Narottam Das Thakur, the glorious follower of Gauranga, who completely destroys the darkness of ignorance of the living entities at its root with the nectarian rays of Krishna's holy name, which emanate from his moon-like face. I offer my repeated obeisances to Srila Narottam Das Thakur, who lights up every direction. Actually, maybe let's do it one verse at a time, so that otherwise we'll forget the, so I'll do that. আপনি শুরু করেন, আমি 10 মিনিট পরে, না 5 মিনিট পরে আসবো। Shri Krishna Namamrita Varshivaktra Chandra Prabhadvastamo Bharaya Gauranga Devanucharaya Tasmai Namo Namah Śrīla Narottamaya. I offer my repeated obeisances to Srila Narottam Das Thakur, who lights up every direction with the effulgence of his teeth. Wow. Revealed as he laughs out of the joy of Harinam Sankirtan and is bathed in torrents of tears perspiring out of divine love. What a beautiful verse. Sankirtanananda jamanda hasya danta duti duti tading mukhaya sweda shudhara snapitaya tasmai namo namah Śrīla Narottamaya. I offer my repeated obeisances to Srila Narottam Das Thakur, whose body is covered with horripilation, whose lotus feet dance enchantingly, being set into motion as soon as he hears the sweet sound of the mridanga. Mridanga nada shruti matra chanchalat padam pujamanda manoharaya sadhya samudyat pulakaya tasmai namo namah Śrīla Narottamaya. I offer my repeated obeisances to Srila Narottam Das Thakur, whose fame has spread through the songs he has written, and whose dance and song, indeed, whose every action in kirtan amazes even the most proficient and brings shame to the Gandharvas. Gandharva Garva Kshapana Svalasya Visma Pita Shesha Kriti Vrajaya Swasrishta Gana Pratitaya Tasmai Namo Namah Śrīla Narottamaya. I offer my repeated obeisances to Srila Narottam Das Thakur, who can be seen only by one who has unlimited good fortune, and whose figure is decorated with the dust that covers it as he falls to the ground unconscious in divine ecstasy. Ayananda Murchavani Pata Bhata Dhuli Bharalankrita Vigrahaya Yadarshanam Bhagya Bharina Tasmai Namo Namah Śrīla Narottamaya. I offer my repeated obeisances to Srila Narottam Das Thakur, who established almhouses of mercy everywhere, causing every person's desire other than for the service to Krishna to be uprooted. Stale stale yasya kripa prapabi Krishnas Krishnanya Trishna Jana Samhatinam Nirmulita eva bhavanti tasmai namo namah Śrīla Narottamaya. I offer my repeated obeisances to Srila Narottam Das Thakur, whose devotional faith is like a line stretched in a stone, whose touch is like that of a philosopher's stone that fulfills all desires, and whose every word is as authoritative as that of the Veda. O yar bhakti nishta palare ki keva sparsha puna sparsha mani vayasya pramanyam evam shruti vadyadiyam tasmai namah Śrīla Narottamaya. I offer my repeated obeisances to Śrīla Narottam Das Ṭhākura, who forever appears to the fortunate learned scholars of transcendental knowledge as devotion itself incarnate, or as the embodiment of the essence of renunciation in this mortal world. Amurtaiva bhakti kim ayam kimesha vairagya sarastanu mandriloke sambhavyateya kriti bisadaiva tasmai namah Śrīla Narottamaya. Jaya Narottam Ṭhākura, Śrīla Narottam Ṭhākura, Jaya Narottam Ṭhākura, Jaya Narottam. O Ṭhākura Narottama, Ṭhākura Narottama, Jaya Narottama, Ṭhākura Narottama. Śrīla Narottam Das Ṭhākura performs the pastime of disappearance on the Krishna Panchami in the month of Kartik. Jai Śrīla Narottam Das Ṭhākura ki Jai. Tadiyar Shubha Avirbhav Titi ki Jai. Jai Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki Jai. Alright, so I'm going to just do a very quick Maha Mantra because it's very late now, and then I'll do a quick Jai Dwani. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai, Nityalila Pravishtam Vishapad Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev ki Jai, Nityalila Pravishtam Vishapad Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswāmī Mahārāja ki Jai, Nityalila Pravishtam Vishapad Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Swāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai, Nityalila Pravishtam Vishapad Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswāmī Mahārāja ki Jai, Nityalila Pravishtam Vishapad Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswāmī Prabhupada ki Jai, Nityalila Pravishtam Bhagavat Śrīla Gaurkishora Swamiji Mahārāja ki Jai, Nityalila Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki Jai, Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Mahārāja ki Jai, Shri Rupa Nagogoriya Guru Varga ki Jai, Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath, Shāra Goswāmī Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai, Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Ṭhākura ki Jai, Prem se kaho Śrī Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadādhara Śrī Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Śrī Kshetra Mandala Gora Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Mahārāja ki Jai, Śrī Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki Jai, Śrī Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki Jai, Śrī Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai, Śrī Bhakti Devi ki Jai, Śrī Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki Jai, Śrī Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai, Jai Śrī Śrīla Narottam Das Ṭhākura ki Jai, Tadiyar Shubha Avirbhav Titi ki Jai. Ashti. Shri Narottam, Shri Nimai Sannyāsa Grahan Divas ki Jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Oh, today is also the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaja's mother, Srimati Ramarangini Devi ki Jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Anantakoti Shri Krishna Madhurotsav ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Shubhananda Prabhu, Champak Mataji, Nari Hari Prabhu, and Bhavatarani Mataji. Let's see who's on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for sticking for so long also. I know today is an extra long reading. Haribo, Raseshwari Mataji, Rukmini Didi, Amit Dandekar Prabhu, Indira Mataji, Philip. Oh, Indira Mataji left. I think she's going to listen later, though, she said. Rukmini Didi, Vidyalalasa Didi, Rasapriya Didi. I already saw Kishore Prabhu, right? Yes. Hare Krishna, everybody. Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much for joining. And I'll see you all tomorrow to read. What is tomorrow? Let's see what the two next chapters are. I think tomorrow's reading, the chapter is very short. It's like 2,000 words or something like that. Let's see. Caitanya-bhāgavata readings. Yeah, very short reading. Okay, so chapter 27 is the Lord pacifies feelings of separation, but it's only 2,400 words. And so we'll read chapter 27 tomorrow, and we'll begin reading chapter 28, which is the Lord's pastime. That's the last chapter of Caitanya-bhāgavata. So tomorrow we're going to start the last chapter of Caitanya-bhāgavata, and we'll take 2 days to read it. Wow. Yeah, so 2 days, and then we'll be finished with the Madhya-khaṇḍa. And then after that, I'm going to be starting this program to go through Raise of the Harmonist articles, very slowly, methodically. The first article is great. I'm really excited for it. I'm going to send out an announcement, a better announcement. I made one announcement already, but I'm going to make a better announcement. I'm going to send it out, and I'm starting a new mailing list for sending out these Raise of the Harmonist articles. I'm going to write the main points in the article that we can discuss, and yeah, the details of the program. So that will start soon, and also we'll have many readings about my Param Gurudev, and then about Srila Bhakti. It's going to be my Param Gurudev's appearance day in 3 days from now, I think. Yeah, and then after that we'll have lots of readings about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura Prabhupada. So thank you so much for sticking to the ends, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.